Meher Baba's Samadhi is at Meherabad, a quiet little town near Ahmednagar in Maharashtra. Meher Baba observed silence for 44 years of his life. His main message is, I have come not to teach, but to awaken. He said, things that are real are given and received in silence. His cosmology is, the goal of all life is to realize the absolute oneness of God. He lived a life of love and service. People from all over the world come to stay at this serene place, the Meher Pilgrim Retreat. Here I met two beautiful people, Cyrus Khambata and his wife Soumya. They live in Meherabad. Cyrus spent more than 50 years in trying to live Meher Baba's teachings. In their weekly meetings, they focus on reading Baba's words and offer lucid, easy to understand explanations. It has been a heartwarming afternoon and evening with them at their lovely home and had amazing conversations. Let's dive deeper into the teachings of Meher Baba. Today we are in a very beautiful house. We have Cyrus Khambata with us.
Thank you.
When did you get to know about Baba? And what really made you follow him?
Before I begin, I would like to thank beloved Baba for giving me this opportunity to speak about him and his message to the world. And I thank you also, Anu, and the team for being here. Coming from an Orthodox Zoroastrian priest family, I was very closeted. The school where we were taught was also only for the Zoroastrian Parsis and Iranis. And we had a subject called Dharma Gyan, which is the religious knowledge about the religion.
And this was in Mumbai?
This was in Mumbai. And we've been hammered that Zoroastrianism is the best religion, that there is no other religion akin or close, even somewhere close to Zoroastrianism. And so when I was brought out, I was like this, you can say the blinkers, knowing only Ahura Mazda, who is supposed to be the highest in spirituality, like how the Mohammedans talk about Allah or Ishwar or Bhagwan or God the Father. Christians talk about God the Father. In Zoroastrianism, we say Ahura Mazda. So that is the be-all and end-all. As I grew up, one day as I was just walking through the streets, there were these street vendors selling some books. And there were very small books called Thus Spake series. And I picked up a few of them. Thus Spake Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, Thus Spake Vivekananda, Thus Spake Rama, Thus Spake Krishna. I was in school at that time, and when I read through them, small books, I thought that it has some substance. It is just Zoroastrianism. There are other masters who also speak a very high language. They speak something which was very touching to the heart. And that was the first step where I deviated from pure and only Zoroastrianism to the thought of other masters as well.
What really made you pick up the book?
I always believe that I don't pick up the book picks me up. And that has always been the case, that when you go to a bookstore, or the book calls you, beckons you, and then you just pick up that book. So that's how it was. And so this happened. I finished my SSC examination. At that time we call it matriculation. And one fine day when I was doing my first year in commerce, I visited my friend's home. I've been visiting him often. And there was this photograph of somebody who again beckoned me. I have been visiting that home because he was a friend, a very close friend of mine. His name was Jimmy Patel. We were neighbors actually.
I also want to know, when a book picks you up or a photograph, what you said is invites you. Yeah. So do you also suggest that we must listen to that?
Oh yes, we must always listen to the voice of your conscience. It may be very feeble, it could be very feeble or very strong, but it is unmistakable. You can't neglect that voice.
Okay.
If we are fine-tuned to that voice. There are times when the mind masquerades as the voice of conscience. And then, well, for me at least, I was fortunate enough not allowing my mind to masquerade, and I could see through that this is my mind and this is the voice.
What I also hear you say, when that voice speaks, it's completely clear.
Yeah, it's clear. And when you follow that voice, you get a sense of accomplishment, a sense of sukoon, as they say, tranquility, restfulness, and you feel fine about it. You feel nice about it. If the mind is masquerading as the voice of conscience, and if you follow that, then there is a certain element of restlessness, doubt, uncertainty, whether what I have done is right or wrong. You ask people, I have done this, is it correct? The moment somebody asks, it means it's not correct.
And I also feel when the mind talks, it's always yes and no, yes and no. But when that inner voice talks, it's completely clear.
Absolutely.
Crystal clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Please continue.
Yeah. So my upbringing was such that as I said, I come from a priest class family, and I would visit what we call as the Agyari. The Agyari is the Parsi word for fire temple, and it was very close to where I stay. So I would visit it compulsorily once in a day, compulsorily. Sometimes in a mood twice, and very rarely 3 times. And the beauty of that particular Agyari was that there was no electricity in it. It was only diyas, lamps. So it had a very soothing atmosphere. So I would just go there and sit there. Now most people do the prayers. I am zero at prayers. I don't know how to pray. In that sense, the bookish prayer. So what I would do is I would sit facing the wall. If this is the wall, I would sit facing the wall so that nobody disturbs me. And I would, from the core of my being, talk to my Ahura Mazda. Talk as is, do you really exist? Are you there? Or it is just bunkam, And if you are there, how am I to know you? How am I to see you? Can I see you? Can I meet you? Can I know you? Or it is just somebody sitting high up somewhere in the sky, as they say, with a long beard. Yeah, with
especially the white
long white beard and laughing all the time, So my only prayer over the years was, are you really there? Are all these prayers reaching you? Are you aware that I exist? And how do I reach you? So it was different permutation combination of those questions. So when I went to that friend's place, I saw a photograph, and as I said, the photograph beckoned me. And this is the replica of the photograph. It's not big. This is the photograph which I saw. Can you see?
Lovely.
This is the photograph, and somehow it had a certain divinity, a certain, purity. I got attracted. So I asked my friend, who is he? He said, he's Meher Baba. The moment he said Baba is a taboo word. Baba means all chore, all fake, all nonsense, But even then, this was so attractive. So I said, okay, Meher Baba, who is Meher Baba? Can you tell me something more about Meher Baba? So he was my age, 1 year elder to me. So he didn't say much. He said, I don't know much.
How old were you then?
I was 17, 16, 17. 17 to be precise, I think. He told me, I don't know much about him, but I know a story concerning him. So I said, we are all brought up with stories. So he is now narrating this story. That there was one gentleman, I want to call him gentleman, called Mr. Irani. And his full-time job was to slander Meher Baba, to swear at Meher Baba, to spread all kinds of false information about Meher Baba. Full-time.
And that time Meher Baba was
physically present. Yes. This was in 1968. Baba dropped his body in 1969, January 31st.
How old was he when he dropped his body?
He was 74. nearing 75.
So he had really done a lot of work
Oh, yes.
for the universe till
Oh,
then.
yes. Oh, yes. Oh,
So,
yes.
and this is how this person was aligned
So
his
he's,
work.
he had a lot of opposition, mainly from the Parsi community. He never allowed his mandali to respond or to react. On the contrary, he would say, by opposing me, they are doing my work because they are remembering me.
So Baba used to say this.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it is the remembrance. Even if it's a virod bhakti, you're opposing him, but all the time you are thinking about him. So he says that they are doing my work. He stopped people from replying, responding, that way. So he's telling about that Irani gentleman. And one fine day, what happened? He had some problems, health problems, which were kidney stones in the kidneys, a lot of them, and excruciating pain. He did all kinds of homeopathy, Unani, or Ayurvedic, nothing helped. Finally, he went to an allopath, and allopath said there's only one cure, and that is surgery. So there was no choice. So he got himself admitted to the hospital. The day was fixed, the time was fixed. He was supposed to be, driven to the operation theatre. And he's taken from the stretcher onto the operating table. At that time, this Irani again swears at Meher Baba. In our language, we say, Gali deke, so and so, so and so. If you are really God, help me now. Now, this Irani sees that the ceiling just comes apart. There is a very strong beam of light, coming through that ceiling. And through that light, Meher Baba comes. Majestic, white sadra, flowing hair. And he takes 3 turns around the table. And with a strong, action, he points at the penis. Tuck, like this. This Irani gentleman becomes unconscious. When he comes to his consciousness, he is already in his own ward. So obviously people are around him and he's asking, how long did the operation take place? How many stones have come out and all that? So the family said that there was no need for any operation. Before the surgeon can open you up, something happened, and there was a ting, like stones coming out, and you urinated profusely, and everything just came out, and there was no need for an operation. At that time, he remembered I had called out to Meher Baba, and he started believing in Meher Baba. So this is the story, and it was very, very intriguing, very touching. I felt, oh my God.
But did you believe this?
Yes, I did.
And what made you believe it?
Okay. Again, there is no made you believe, it's something inner. I felt that it is possible. And at that time I felt, here is a man, as I said, the photograph, who is so benevolent, who is so kind, who is so forgiving, that in spite of this gentleman, Irani, full-time job to ridicule him, to slander him, to backbite him, he has been so kind enough to forgive him and help him out. So I said, kuch to hai, something is there. I want to know more about this man. So I said, can you tell me something more? So he said, I don't know anything. You talk to my father. He's going to come back from office at about 6:37. You come and meet him and you ask anything you want to ask him. I don't know anything about him. So I said, fine. I come back to my home. In the evening, I go over there. And all this is being done without my family knowing, clandestinely, as they say, because if my family knew that I am asking something about some Baba, it would be hell for me. They did not want me to go after any Babas because it was something taboo, as I said. So I go to him. His name is Hoshang Patel. We call him Hoshang Shah, out of respect. So he lent me a book. He said, "Beta, ye padho, read this out." And this happens to be the book. This is the book. This is the book, which means it is not just the title, but actually this is the book which was lent to me. Of course, I returned it to him. And after he died,
he gave it
the son gave it to me, that it's yours, you keep it. So this is the book, The Perfect Master by C.B. Purdom, Charles Purdom.
that means that Baba traveled.
Oh, yes. He traveled 13 times around the world, 6 times in USA, twice in Australia, and he has got centers all over the world and hundreds in India. Hundreds in India. And there are people coming from so many countries to visit the Samadhi.
And they've been coming for many years.
Oh, yes, they've been coming for now, 54 years after Baba dropped his body.
Yeah, and I also heard that some of the Westerners have been living here for years.
Oh, yes. There are quite a few Westerners. In fact, the beauty and the cleanliness and the afforestation that you see, this was a barren land, he said, jungle, in fact. I would say that there was a lot that they contributed.
Okay.
The MPR you mentioned about the male pilgrim retreat, that the architect is Ted Judson. He's the one who came here, I suppose, more than 40 years back.
From
and there
where
are many
did he come?
from US.
From the US.
So there are quite a few Westerners who are settled here in Meherabad and who are doing real good selfless service for their master. Why this book attracted me?
Yes.
You know, most of the authors would say high-sounding words about whom they are. Now, this is the very first chapter. This has been very, very much in use, so you will find that. This is another photograph of Meher Baba. This was taken in London in 1931. Okay, the very first chapter, the very first paragraph says, and I thought it was a very beautiful way of starting. This will be found a strange book, all the more strange because the story that it tells has not reached its end. Obviously, Baba was alive at that time. It is the story of a man whose life will appear incomprehensible. You cannot comprehend Baba's life because if we go along the way, we'll know. A life in which the contradictions are normal values and actions are prominent. Yet, this man says, I am God. Unequivocal. I am God. And his mission is to change the world, though he neither speaks, nor writes, nor even seeks to get followers. It will arouse controversy, and I have no doubt that it will be misunderstood. So when I read this, I said, wow, there's an author here who is not thrusting Baba down your throat. He is God, accept him. He says he has a lot of contradictions. He doesn't seek followings. He doesn't write. He doesn't speak. He doesn't write. He doesn't touch money. He stopped touching money, So I said, this is something, very honest and open to start with. The biography of the author, Lord Meher. Lord Meher. There are 20 volumes of this.
Okay.
Perhaps this is one of the most exhaustive biography of anybody. It has, I think, about 7,000 pages and they are in 20 volumes. So this is Lord Meher. This is the original print. We also got it printed in India now. So if somebody is interested, they can always refer to that. And now it's available online as well. Lord Meher online, and you get
the journey of Meherwan to becoming Meher Baba. How was he known to be Meher Baba? I also heard about perfect masters. So could you tell us about that? And also maybe in the story tell us that he is called Avatar of the Age. Then what is the difference between perfect masters and Avatar? And what could be the reason that he's called Avatar of the Age?
Meherwan, later on, because of the respect that he earned from his friends and peers, was even called Meherwan Ji and then Meherwan Seth. So before he became Meher Baba, it was Meherwan Ji, Meherwan. That was the transformation, gradual transformation. He was doing college, and he was doing college. And one day he was bicycling, and there was an old lady who used to sit at what is known as Char Bauri. There's a place called Char Bauri in Pune.
Where is that?
It's somewhere near Baba's house only.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know the exact location of Pune.
I think it is Main Street, Camp area.
So that lady was one of the 5 perfect masters, since you asked about perfect masters. Her name was Hazrat Babajan. Again, to go back to Hazrat Babajan, she lived in Balochistan. When she got realization, what we call as Aham Brahmasmi, Anal Haq. So she started shouting Anal Haq, which means I am that, I am God, I am Allah. You know, she was buried alive by the Pathans over there. And when those Pathans came to Pune after several years, they saw her sitting under the tree. So they realized that what they did was something very wrong and that he is really divine. So Hazrat Babajan beckoned Meherwan, and Meherwan put the cycle over there and came to Hazrat Baba. Baba says that I was attracted to her like steel to a magnet. There was nothing I could do, I just was attracted.
But I think this was on the Deccan College Road in Yeroda. Isn't that so?
No, because her place of where she was sitting, it could be, I don't know, because I'm not very familiar with the topography of Pune.
Okay.
Yeah. The point is that the moment she came, the moment he came to Hazrat Babajan, she gave him an embrace. Like, a loving mother who has seen her long lost son. And she kept on saying, Mera pyara beta, mera, my beloved son, my beloved son, my beloved son. Meherwan kept the bicycle over there, and instantaneously, the veil was lifted, so to speak, and he lost all consciousness of himself, of the surrounding, of the world.
When she kissed him here.
Oh, this was at the time of embrace.
Oh,
embrace,
okay.
yeah. And he just went home like a robot, how, without any life. The parents were aghast, the parents were concerned. He did not eat, he did not open his eyes, he was just like a corpse that way. Then gradually he came to his, but not the original Meherwan. So it went on for about 9 months like that. He left his schooling, that is a college. Some people thought he was mad. He was given a lot of treatment. He would not sleep all night for so many months. He would eat very little. And even if food is served, he would store it in his drawers or give it to the dog, give it to the cows and all that, but he would not eat. So basically he spent those 9 months from May 13 to January 14, in that state. And all that he would love to do is to visit this old lady every day and sit by her side all the time, late into the night. Then one fine day, I would say night.
And why don't you talk about also Babajan, her attire, and the way she was, when being a princess and her how she was. Why don't you tell that?
She was a perfect master.
Yeah.
That means man becoming God. I'll talk to what is a perfect master later on. Yes, her attire was, I would say, in a sense, like a ragged, like rags. She would move all over Pune, sometimes in the night. She was mostly Jamali type, which means mild, loving, kind. But at times she can be Jalali, that means very, very ferocious. She would sit under a neem tree, which is still there at this Char Baudi. And people would come and ask her for mannat, wishes, and they would get whatever they wanted. She was totally indifferent to her body, to a point where it is said that in her arms and in her legs there would be maggots. Can you imagine? And they would be falling off. And she would be picking it and again putting it on her flesh, telling, okay, eat, this is your food, this is your whatever, that way. So such all perfect masters, they're totally indifferent to their bodies, you see. So that was Hazrat Babajan. So Baba would go and sit there and she would make him scratch her back, that kind of thing. And they would just be talking about anything. And Baba was still in that state of mind. When Hazrat Babajan, when Baba said he was leaving Hazrat Babajan, he kissed her hand to say goodbye, and she got up. She got up and held her face.
His face.
I'm sorry, his face. That's my common. His face in her hand and kissed him here between the forehead, exactly here. And that was where Baba says that I started experiencing, myself as the only one in existence. The Nirvikalpa Samadhi, as they call it, And then again, that was another jhatka, so to speak, where he again lost all interest in everything around him, and he was constantly in that high state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But he continued to keep coming to Hazrat Babajan. There are many stories where Shirin Mai would come to Hazrat Babajan. What have you done to my son and all that? But I will not go into it. People can read it, because we have to cover all the 5 perfect masters, After that, he, in that dazed state, he goes to Narayan Maharaj. This was in 1914. Around 1914, 15, everything happened. Narayan Maharaj was another perfect master. Here you have a perfect master, no sense of clothing, sitting on the pavement, sleeping on the pavement. There's another perfect master, Narayan Maharaj, who would be like a king. He would be sitting on the silver throne with a golden taj, crown and all that. He had no attachment to all these things, but perfect masters are of different types, And he was a very mild type, so we call it Jamali, right? So that day when Meherwan goes to Narayan Maharaj, Narayan Maharaj was sitting on his throne of Dattatreya, they call it, Dattatreya throne. And the moment Narayan Maharaj saw that young boy, coming like this, immediately he says, meeting is over, everybody go away. So everybody went away. And the young boy is coming, walking slowly with staggering steps. Narayan Maharaj himself gets down from his throne, gets up from his throne. He goes to the boy, holds him by the hand, brings him on his own throne, makes him sit on the throne, and takes out a garland from his own neck and puts it on Meherwan's neck and offers him a mango juice. And then they talk a little while, and then he goes away. Meherwan goes away. This is like, you can say that the glory of God, the glory of God was given to Meherwan at that instance. All the masters, see, when we talk about perfection, we talk about the triune or the 3 attributes, which is infinite knowledge, infinite power, and infinite bliss. So infinite bliss,
infinite knowledge,
infinite power, infinite bliss.
Infinite bliss.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say triune or trio attributes. So infinite bliss was already given by Hazrat Babajan to Meherwan with that kiss. That's got it. Then after Narayan Maharaj, he goes to Tajuddin Baba. Tajuddin Baba of Nagpur. Narayan Maharaj was in Ketgaon. So he goes to Tajuddin Baba. Tajuddin Baba was a Jalali, absolutely ferocious. And then on that particular day, he was so out of mood that he would just trash everybody and just, not talk to anybody. Nobody was allowed near him. The moment he sees this young boy, after, not that immediately he went, after a few days maybe, he calms down. He calms down and he picks up roses and he moves very calmly to Meherwan and he waves roses at his face. Their eyes meet, their gaze lock. Nothing was spoken, no words, nothing, no utterance at all, And Meherwan turns around, walks away. And as Meherwan is walking away, Tajuddin Baba just, my divine rose, my divine rose. That's about all. And it is said that at that time, the Taj, the crown, was handed over to Meherwan. Then again, after a few months, this was sometime in 1915.
Before you move ahead, you have told us about the 4 perfect masters up till now.
Up till now, 3.
3.
Hazrat Babajan, Narayan Maharaj, and Tajuddin Baba.
Tajuddin Baba, three of them. These things are told by Baba, and they are
Yes. They are all recorded in Lord Meher and also in several other books.
So then he narrated that this happened.
Yes.
For us to understand what does it mean is what I meant.
And Meherwan kept on going to Hazrat Babajan all the while, because it very close proximity, Pune. And now he has to take the infinite power. And Sai Baba was the holder of infinite power. Sai Baba was not just a perfect master, but we call it Kutub-e-Irshad. That means the head of the 5 perfect masters and the head of the entire spiritual hierarchy. Amongst the 5, there is always one who's head. So, Babajan would tell Meherwan that this belongs to you. There's a treasure waiting to be given to you. I do not have that treasure. I can't give it to you. And then, over a period of time, she utters in an understandable way, there is a sign. There is a sign. He is in Shirdi. Go to him and ask for whatever is due to you. See whether he gives it to you. I cannot give it to you. You go and take it from him. So sometime in the end of 1915, Meherwan goes to Shirdi. Now Shirdi Sai Baba, as I said, had a peculiar, you may say, habit that whenever he would go to defecate, to ease himself, he would go into the fields and stay there for hours together. He would be taken in a procession. That is why it is called Lendi. Lendi March. Lendi. So one day in December, when Sai Baba was returning from that, what we call Lendi, Meher Baba prostrated himself. We call it Sastang Namaskar, before Sai. And Sai Baba looked at the boy, the young chap, and uttered one majestic word, Parvardigar. It is said that he uttered it 3 times, Parvardigar, Parvardigar. He also paid respect to Meherwan and he uttered these words. And with the utterance of these words, Baba says that the infinite power was transferred to me. So that was with Sai Baba. And at Shirdi, a little distance away, a few yards away, there was a Khandoba temple where Upasni Maharaj was sitting under Sai Baba's instructions. So Sai Baba indicates to Meherwan, go there and meet him. So again Meherwan is tragic. He is still in that state, He's not fully conscious of his gross surroundings and all that. He approaches Upasni Maharaj. Upasni Maharaj was sitting at the threshold of the temple, Khandoba. The moment he sees that young boy, somebody is coming, of course somebody he knows. He gets up, he takes a stone and flings it with such speed, such force, that it hits him at the exact spot where Hazrat Babajan had kissed Meherwan, and it drew blood, But Meherwan is not afraid. He still keeps on walking towards Upasni Maharaj. And Upasni Maharaj then embraces him. He washes the wound, kisses the wound and all that. And both of them go into that temple. Along with Meherwan, there was another friend of Meherwan, Khodu, and he was a little concerned because they did not come out for 2 days. What is happening inside? What has happened to Meherwan? What happened, we really do not know. And then that Baba later on said that was the stroke of Jnana, knowledge. So infinite knowledge was given by Upasni Maharaj, infinite power was given by Sai Baba, and infinite bliss was given by Hazrat Babajan. And it took Maharaj 7 more years to be with Meherwan and bring him down to creation consciousness and announce and declare that Meherwan, you are the avatar. You are the primal force. Tu Adi Shakti Ahe. That happened in January of 1922. But that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say, it took such a long time. And during this coming down period, Baba says, it is such a terribly painful journey that he would bang his head on the floor, on the walls. He would crack, windows, window panes and glasses and all that, because that physical pain would reduce the spiritual pain. So you will still see that stone, where Baba would shed his blood at Pune in that house with a well, what is now called Baba House. So then after completed 7 years, Upasni Maharaj one day called a few of his disciples and declares in front of all, bowing down like this. Upasni Maharaj is the master for Meherabad, that you are Adi Shakti, you are the primal force, you are the avatar. And he tells all the other disciples that whatever I had, I have given it to this boy. I am now naked. I don't have anything. You are supposed to now follow him. And that's how the initial, what we call as the circle of disciples got formed through Upasni Maharaj.
How do we identify who is a perfect master? So that's the first question. Could you tell us that?
The simple answer is you can't identify.
Okay.
Because unless and until you have you are of that stature, only then only a perfect master or a perfect one would be able to recognize a perfect master. But Baba has given 3 tips, so to speak, where you can know what is, how to recognize a perfect master. Number 1 is that the perfect master experiences oneness with God. And since he is oneness with God, and God is everyone and everything, he is one with everyone and everything. So he has no such thing as, oh, this is a wise man, this is a Buddha, or this is rich and this is poor. For him, everything is one. He experiences oneness with everyone and everything. That's first sign which Baba said. The second one is the atmosphere of bliss, peace, tranquility, love, joy, which permeates in his surrounding. So that was the second point which he said. And the third was, because he is in everyone and everything, he functions at various levels. He is nonchalant on the throne, and he is equally indifferent and unconcerned in the gutter. He is the same. So these are the 3 indicators, I would say. But you cannot say, because Baba said that these are the perfect masters, because he talked about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he talked about Samshat Tabriz, he talked about Maulana Rumi, Hafiz, Sant Jnaneshwar, Tukaram, Eknath, Namdev, because he said, and of course his own 5 perfect masters, we know it as perfect masters. Now your question is, who is a perfect master or what is a perfect master, right? Creation, first there is creation. We won't go into how the creation got created. Then there is evolution. Evolution of consciousness, which means right from gases to stone, metal, minerals, to vegetables, to insects, fish, bird, animal, and then human being. We evolved. And Baba says, when Baba talks about evolution, he talks about evolution of consciousness. And along with evolution of consciousness, there is evolution of forms or bodies. So evolution of consciousness precedes evolution of form and not the other way around, as Charles Darwin talks about. In other words, evolution of form is a byproduct of the factory of evolution of consciousness. So once you are a human being, there is no further evolution. The consciousness is whole and complete. We get all the 3 bodies. There are 3 bodies, Baba talk: gross, subtle, mental. You can say sthul, shukshma, mana. It's all complete. There's no further evolution. Now there is only reincarnation. And in the process of reincarnation, the consciousness which is burdened by the samskaras or the impressions are to be weeded out. They're thrown out.
So that means that after a human takes a human
First,
form.
after first human form, there's no evolution of consciousness.
So, but he doesn't go back, or she doesn't go back being into the...
No.
To
Baba had
what,
made it very clear that once the human form is achieved, there is no retrogressive or regression in consciousness, except one exception, where a person on the fourth plane of consciousness.
Now, what are these planes? How many planes are there?
All right, I'll come to that. There, Baba says there are 6 planes in the domain of duality or illusion. The 7th plane is reality. This is from illusion to reality, from dream to awake state, from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from Dvaita to Advaita. So that is, there are 6 in that duality, and then there is the 7th. There is a plane, 4th plane, which is like a threshold between the subtle world and the mental world. The dark night of the soul, that is where you get tremendous powers. You can create new universes. You can create new life. Bringing back a dead man, to life is a very easy task for such a... They are known as the Kuber. And if that person on the 4th plane misuses his powers,
Then he goes back.
then he goes back to the stone, not just a normal human being. He has to start the whole journey again. Because of the misuse of powers, his consciousness disintegrates, shatters, and he goes back to. Baba gives an example of an absent-minded professor where he has created an atom bomb and he wants to try it out, and he uses that. The first person to be affected is yourself. So it's like that. So coming back to our... So now, after human form, there is only reincarnation. After several reincarnations, Baba talked 84 lakhs, you enter the spiritual path, which is the first plane of consciousness. When you enter the first plane of consciousness, I identify myself with the gross form, because we are all gross basically. You enter into the subtle sphere or the subtle world, the world of energy, the world of urja. And as you progress to the 2nd and the 3rd, you identify yourself as energy body. You have no consciousness of the gross. You live in the gross. You eat, drink, sleep, talk, walk, everything.
But they don't feel...
The consciousness is centered in the subtle, in the energy. Same way on the 5th and the 6th plane.
When you say that they are centered in the energy, means do they feel the presence of the body, or they don't
They
feel?
don't feel. They are not conscious of the body at all. They are not, they are like, you can say, somnambulist. People who do sleepwalking, are they aware that they are walking? No. But they are walking. I will see the other person as eating, drinking, sleeping, talking with me, joking with me. But his consciousness is in the subtle. But because my consciousness is gross, I can only relate to him at the gross level. That's what Baba said. Same way with mental. In the mental world, mental sphere, Baba said there are 2 planes, the 5th and the 6th. The 5th is the plane of thoughts. All thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts. He can read thoughts, transmit thoughts. He can, sitting here, he can know what one particular person in America is thinking right now. That is the 5th plane. He's called a wali. In Sufi terminology, he's called a wali. And then on the 6th plane, that is the plane of feelings, emotions, love. And on the 6th plane, he's called a pir, in again the Sufi terminology. And he is able to see God in everyone and everything. But he still feels that he is separate from God. That means the abyss or the valley between the duality and the unity is so wide that he cannot jump on his own. He needs the aid of a living perfect master, or the avatar, who's the eternal living perfect master. Whether the avatar is not in the body, but he has his nazar on each one of us. He's the eternal perfect master. So without his assistance, you cannot have what is known as God realization, self-realization, aham brahmasmi, anal haq.
So where the person starts feeling that he is God or she is God.
Then the individualized, finite, separative ego, that is the small I, gets transformed into the big I. And he exclaims, Anal Haq, or I am God. Now, when he gets that I am God state, He's in that state. He experiences himself as God. He has no consciousness of the creation or of his body. So those are not perfect masters. Those are perfect ones, Baba distinct. In God's speech, everything is so detailed given, Even the perfect master.
So what is the difference between a perfect one and a perfect master?
He is in his masti. He's called a mazube, a mazub. He's a mazubiyat. He's in a state of mazubiyat. There are people who get that experience of I am God and again come back to
gross body.
Not gross body is always there. Gross body is never left. Creation conscious. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. So everything he knows, but he has no duty to perform. They are called saliks. They are in a state of sulukiyat. So there is mazubiyat, there is sulukiyat, and there is kutubiyat. Kutubs are the perfect masters. So they have the body, they have retained their God consciousness, they know I am God, and they are also conscious of all the worlds, the gross, subtle, and the mental world, but they know it is illusory. It is a dream, it is a shadow, and they have duties to perform towards creation. That is a perfect master. A perfect master is one who has achieved God realization and has come down. Come down doesn't mean he's gone and come. Come down in consciousness. Come down for serving the creation. Those are, and Baba says there are only 5 perfect masters in the entire creation at any given point in time. And there are 56 God realized souls. We said perfect ones. At any given point in time, of which the 5 are perfect masters. Only during the avataric period, Baba says the avatar never comes of his own accord. He never comes. It is the existing 5 perfect masters of that time,
they call him,
who besiege him, who pray, please come and take charge of your creation.
So then who called Meher Baba?
Correct. So now they are the 5 ones which we said of just now. They besiege the avatar, and then at the appointed time each one will give their charge to him, like infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite knowledge, the glory of God, the crown of God, and then the avatar takes on his avataric duty, and then the 5 perfect masters recede. They are not very prominent at that point in time. So the avatar is as I said, there are perfect masters. There is a Kutub-e-Irshad, which was Sai Baba. And when the avatar comes, he is called the Sahib-e-Zaman. Sahib-e-Zaman means he is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the highest of the high. God in human form, God man, the Christ, the Messiah, the Buddha. These called by any prophet, prophet of God, messenger of God, whatever you call.
So avatar, he's
called the avatar. So avatar's journey is the descent from top to down. So then, he doesn't have to go through creation consciousness. See, try to understand. The perfect master's journey is from being man to becoming God. That's why they are also called man God. Whereas the avatar's journey is from up to down, and therefore he is called the God man. That the lifting of the veil has to be done by one of the 5 perfect masters and inform him or declare that you are the avatar. During Meher Baba's time, Hazrat Babajan did the same job John the Baptist
did for Jesus.
And then John the Baptist told, I don't remember, it was Bartholomew or Matthew, and said, it is he who will grow now, it is I who will diminish. Go and follow him, make him your master. And they run after Jesus, master. Like how Upasni Maharaj announced that I have now become naked, I have given everything to him, to this boy, and it is him you should follow. So, to answer your question, the avatar always needs a master to unveil him. Avatar doesn't have to go through the rigmarole of first plane, second plane, third plane. No, he's already there. He's already enlightened. But he's brought down with a veil. Because if he were brought down in all his glory, then there'll be a lot of disturbance between the light and the darkness, between the truth and the Maya. So he's always brought down with a veil. And the veil is removed at the appointed time by one of the 5 perfect masters, and the other 4 give their charge to him, and then he takes charge.
This we understand, at least something of it. But for somebody who is the audience who's watching us, so like we all are in the gross plane.
I am. I don't know about you.
Yeah. So we all in the gross plane. Yeah. So while that is happening, how to progress into the first plane?
One question you had asked, how do I know whether I am on the first or second plane or something? Baba has said that when you progress into the first plane of consciousness, which is in the subtle world, your sense of smell and your sense of taste and your sense of touch, it just goes away. So if I were to pinch you, you won't say ouch or ouch. You won't say that because your sense of touch,
your sense of touch and your sense of taste,
sense of taste goes away.
Okay.
And then gradually other senses go away. The sense of smell, and then finally the sense of sight is the final which remains. And then what is called as the third eye or the spiritual eye, Baba says that is the last vestige of the samskaras or impression, where the peer on the sixth plane sees God in everyone and everything. He sees. But he cannot become one with God because the last vestige of samskaras mean the impressions of action, that remains. So sight remains till the end, and then Eureka.
So, but coming back to the same question, the ones who are the audience and we all are watching, we are in the gross plane. How do we go?
Okay, there are many paths which you can follow. There is a Dhyan Yoga, which focuses on meditation. There is a Karma Yoga, which talks about action. There is a Bhakti Yoga, which talks about devotion. Dhyan, Karma and devotion, Bhakti Yoga. And there's a Raj Yoga also. So Baba, it's not that Baba does not give importance to this. Baba does give importance to this. But the fine tuning is this, which Baba says, anything that you do or think or speak from the platform of I am the doer, it binds. All these yogas are very good, but it will bind you with good karmas.
That means
with good samskaras.
Yeah. So being a non-doer means to witness then.
Correct. But non-doer does not mean not to do.
No.
Yeah.
That you are not the one.
Yeah, you are
not the one. So you witness.
Yeah.
And
correct.
Then, and in that space you do your work, knowing that you are not doing.
You are not the doer. So and the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as they say, which means that you are not affected by the results. That you hone in all your capabilities, abilities, whatever you have, into whatever you are doing, fully, full-heartedly, and not bother about the results, not attached to the results. So Baba does give importance to these yogas, but then love is the supreme. Because if you really love somebody, you don't think about yourself. You spontaneously don't think about yourself.
Then now when you say love, I'm reminded of ishq.
Okay, ishq mijaji
and ishq hakiki.
Okay, ishq mijaji is love for somebody, love for something material. And Baba doesn't talk just love as person to person. I like to eat, let's say, curry. So love for curry, love for smoking, love for tobacco, love for name, love for fame. All that is the lower type of love. Even Baba says, even a mother's love for her daughter or son is not very high love, because there is that inkling that you're getting some satisfaction.
There's an expectation.
Yeah, there's an expectation. Disinterested love is the highest type of love, which would mean that
type of love.
Highest type of love. Disinterested means disinterested. I am not interested in the result. My job, love is a one-way traffic. Baba says, love is that which gives and does not expect anything in return. You're not bothered. You're just giving and giving and giving. No consideration for time, no consideration for comfort, no consideration for convenience. You're just giving. That's love, according to Baba. There's a message called How to Love God, if we have time or maybe some other time. Selfless service. Baba talks about selfless service is that service in which the person who is serving does not even get a thought that I am serving. It is so sahaj, like you're breathing. You don't get a thought that you are breathing all the time. No. Only when you are climbing a mountain, you feel panting. So that way Baba has given a lot of importance to love. And love, ishq hakiki, is love for the divine beloved, for God. And love for God, because somebody will say, I don't even know God. I have not seen God. How to love? So Baba has given a very beautiful document, how to love God.
There was a very nice saying which you said last time. We take life seriously.
Yeah, okay.
And God.
Yeah, we take life seriously and God lightly.
However,
whereas we should take God seriously and life lightly. Life is never to be taken seriously in that sense, you know.
Yeah.
But then the whole way we have been nurtured, the way we have been brought up, you know, these things are to be taught at the infant level, you know. That God is merciful, God is loving, whosoever, whatsoever you are, He will accept you like that OLX thing. You know, today we have as is, where is condition.
Yeah.
He'll accept you where you are.
Yeah.
He won't say, okay, go purify yourself, go and have a dip in the Ganga and then come to know. He will accept you the way you are. And there's no time, but there are several instances of people who have done the most rotten things in life, and Baba has just embraced them and said, and say, forget about it. Now it's done, it's done. You can't change that. Henceforth, don't do it. Don't repeat it. So it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So benevolent our master is, you know. That's why I said, never once have I heard condemnation. You are condemned. You are don't show your face to me. You are no good. Get lost. No. He will only say, okay, whatever has happened has happened.
This is love.
This is love. This is love.
This is love.
This is love.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Anu. Thank you so much.
I had such a wonderful time.
Thank you.
I'm sure the audience would also enjoy. And I had one of the best times of my life today.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us in your beautiful home in the space of Meherabad. And I'm sure now that the audience would know about Meherabad, the ones who do not know. And the ones who know would go back into looking into the books that they have not read and knowing that you are completely loved. And that's the only thing that is there, and that is love.
That's true.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Meherabad is love.
Yeah.
There is no, God is love. There's a nice, I'll just read out a paragraph, not even a paragraph, a few lines. Superb. This is the book called Everything and the Nothing, again dictated by Baba. And I'll just, it's so superb and so, this thing, the very first chapter.
Do you know that book which says everything
and the
nothing has, the meaning itself is so beautiful. Yeah.
The lover and the beloved. I'll just read a few lines. God is love, and love must love.
Oh.
And to love, there must be a beloved. But since God is existence infinite and eternal, there is no one for him to love but himself.
Oh, lovely. Oh.
So superb. And in order to love himself, he must imagine himself as the beloved, whom he, as the lover, imagines he loves. I hope I'm not confused.
Completely, that is you.
That's it.
And then you are your
in
own
other words,
beloved.
there is nothing besides the beloved. There's nothing besides him. He is playing all the roles for all of us.
Oh, lovely.
So he is playing the role of Anu as a lover who is loving the beloved Meherabad, who is God.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So how beautiful it is. And his words are superb. His words are superb.
Thank you.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Okay, Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thank you, beloved.